Less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Okay. So that was Donald Trump being laughed at while standing on the world stage less than 2 years into his first term. It's definitely not the reaction that any world leader is hoping for when addressing the United Nations. It's actually a pretty big speech that U.S. leaders give. But it was especially concerning for Donald Trump, a man so thin-skinned and so obsessed completely with his self-image that he rarely lets any slight go unanswered, even when it's against his interest. Imagine what was going through his head when he was entering the United Nations and this happened. Okay, so Trump passed through the security barricades. He then walked up to the escalator and stepped onto it with the First Lady, at which point the escalator abruptly stopped, leaving Trump flummoxed for a few seconds. You can see the First Lady just walking up the stairs as one normal person does. He ultimately decided to just walk up the immobile staircase himself. Now, basically, everyone who has ever used an escalator, ever, has had some version of this exact same experience. Sometimes escalators malfunction, and you are left to just treat them like a regular staircase. Not a big deal. It happens. But for Donald Trump, the brief inconvenience of having to walk up a non-working escalator while on camera was enough to provoke outrage on the world stage. I mean, there are a lot of topics Trump could have had on his mind. A lot he could have talked about. Syria, Russia, Ukraine, the Middle East, Iran, name more than those. And yet here was Donald Trump moments later addressing the United Nations General Assembly.
All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle, and then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the two things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Frankly, looking at the building and getting stuck on the escalator, they still haven't finished the job.
Okay, so that's real. That was the president of the United States lashing out at an assembled gathering of world leaders because the escalator apparently didn't show him enough respect. It was, to say the least, a ridiculous thing to bring up over and over again. We showed you a couple of examples of that in a speech to the United Nations. But the escalator crisis, believe it or not, it did not end there. Just a few hours after that speech, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt posted on X, quote, "If someone at the UN intentionally stopped the escalator as the president and first lady were stepping on, they need to be fired and investigated immediately." I tried to do my best voice there. Yes, that is the White House Press Secretary. I know what that job is. That's not a normal thing to post. Calling for an investigation into the world's largest intergovernmental organization because an escalator stopped
Trump also pardoned Mr. David Daniel, who was convicted of production and possession of child pornography. Trump also pardoned Mr. Daniel Ball, who, quote, threw an explosive device that detonated upon at least 25 officers during the Capitol riot. He also had a record for, quote, domestic violence by strangulation. I'm not done. Trump also pardoned Mr. Andrew Taki, who sent nudes to an undercover law enforcement officer who was posing as a 15-year-old girl. Mr. Casey Hopkins also received a pardon from Trump, and Mr. Hopkins was convicted of forcible rape. According to court records, he, quote, had forcible intercourse with the victim, choked her to the point of impairing her vision, banged her head into a wall, and urinated into the victim's mouth as he humiliated her. These are the people that he decided to release in the streets of D.C. So if anybody does need to clean up D.C., I would agree it is this man, because he is the one that is causing half the crime that we have. Not only is he participating in the crime, but we know that he instigated the insurrection. And if I did say that I had one issue with the Biden-Harris administration, it is the fact that they did not move forward and make sure that this man was put where he should have been put. Because the last time I checked as a criminal defense attorney, and Mr. Attorney General, you may have a different experience, but I never had a defendant that had 34 convictions for felonies and did not spend one day in jail. Never in my life. And the last time I checked, the party of law and order is the only one that decided that they would be out of order and decided to nominate someone who was not only indicted but was actually convicted of multiple felonies. That has never happened in this country, and it is a shame that we are dealing with it now, and now he wants to tell y'all how to do your jobs.
Okay. After perhaps the worst 96 hours of his presidency, the worst 96 hours of the worst presidency of all time, the most fail in the shortest span, the mentally deteriorating, untethered from reality Trump must resign and take his idiot sycophants with him. The last 96 hours. The UN speech sounding like an escapee from a psych ward. His Tylenol news conference sounding like an escapee from a psych ward who's been living on the street for a month. His suggestion NATO countries shoot down Russian jets. His sudden embrace of Ukraine. MAGA rage about Ukraine. The cover of a London right-wing daily in his picture in 72-point type with the word deranged below it. The ICE shooting in Dallas. His idiot simpering vice president pretending the victims were agents when they were detainees. His ICE chief not denying, then denying he took $50,000 in a paper bag. His paranoia over the stopped teleprompter at the UN that was his White House staff's fault. His paranoia over the stopped escalator at the UN that was his own vanity videographer's fault. His desire to arrest the escalator and arrest James Comey. The election of Adalita Grijalva to Congress and the fact that she'll be the last representative needed to force a vote on releasing the Trump Epstein files, his self-humiliation at the Kirk Memorial, ABC reinstating Kimmel, Kimmel then shoving him in a locker using only a monologue, Kimmel then getting a record 6 million viewers and 22 more million online in his first 20 hours, the fact that Kimmel and ABC and Bob Iger and Disney and America told Trump to shove his threats, and that's just since Sunday night. Resign. Take Vance with you. Take Noam with you. Take Homan with you. Take Millet with you. Leave the Epstein files.
So a reporter just asked Trump, what is he going to do to help a bunch of young men who are unemployed find jobs? Listen to his answer.
Go ahead, please.
Question from Newsmax. Last year, before you took office, there was an estimated 6.8 million men not actively seeking work of prime working age. So you and Secretary Lutnick could talk about the efforts your administration is taking to help our American gentlemen get back to work.
Yeah, well, what we're doing is they're building plants all over the United States, and frankly, because of tariffs, we're taking in trillions of dollars. And countries that have ripped us off for years, and everyone knows this, countries that have ripped us off for years, like nobody's ever been ripped off before, they're now having to pay up. They're paying a lot of money to America, and we're reducing taxes with that money, and we're doing things that we were never able to do before. So it's you're going to have a lot of jobs. The jobs are being created right now, and the tariffs are protecting our country. And we didn't use, tariffs were used against us, but we didn't use them against others. But we're really better at it than anybody else, and we will have taken in trillions of dollars. Nobody's ever seen anything. Even people that were against the tariffs, now they see the way they're working. And by the way, with no inflation, with no problem, we're just building up cash, and we're using that cash to reduce taxes, reduce debt, and other things. It's a great thing to watch. And your honest reporters are saying they've never seen anything like what's happening. Our country is becoming very rich again only because of tariffs. If we didn't have it, if I didn't get elected, this country it was a dead country. Look, we were a dead country a year ago, and now we're the most successful, most vibrant country anywhere in the world.
Wow. Can you believe what you just heard the sitting president say he's going to do to help young men find jobs? Absolutely nothing. What's with him talking about these factories supposedly opening up? It's not enough jobs that will be in those factories for all of these young men. So the answer is no. That's why the economy is not going in the right direction. And then he said the tariffs. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are seriously heading towards a 1929 style depression. One like we've never ever seen in our life. There won't be any eggs, there won't be any groceries, and our utility bills will be through the roof thanks to Donald J. Trump.
Hey guys, so literally a couple days ago, do you remember when Trump said to Vladimir Putin, hey, you have 50 days, and then I'm going to do real serious things if you don't stop bombing Ukraine? And then he actually made people believe, because he's like, maybe I'm going to do less than 50 days. Nothing happened. Guess what? A couple days ago, the original 50-day deadline passed. The original one, nothing's been done. But guess what? He was asked about it. He was asked, your 50 days passed. Here's what he said. Honest to God, you can't make this up. We'll know in 2 weeks. He literally did it again, another 2 weeks. Past the 50 days. Guys, he's not going to do anything to Vladimir Putin. We know this. But what's amazing to me, and I'm not doing this just as a gratuitous attack on MAGA. Let me do this on the MAGAs that actually think Donald Trump is tough and try to pretend like he's for America first. This dude has failed to enforce so many red lines that he makes Obama's failure to enforce a red line in Syria make it look like John frickin' Wayne in comparison. And I was really critical of Barack Obama when he failed to enforce that red line. I thought it did incalculable damage. This failure week after week for 7 months. For 7 months, he said that he's going to enact penalties on Russia, and he doesn't. Instead, he just rolls out the red carpet for Putin. And by the way, for everybody that thinks this is America first, listen, after World War II, the United States built the world order. And we didn't do it just out of the kindness of our heart, although I think it was best for the world. We did it because it was the best for us. There's a reason in 1950s that there was this massive explosion of manufacturing. It's not because of Mayberry and Opie and whatever. It's because the entire, basically, manufacturing of the world was destroyed in World War II, and we stayed engaged in the world and built it here. America first is staying engaged in the world. It is being tough. It is not rolling out the red carpet for a genocidal maniac. It is not turning our back on Ukraine. This guys, listen, Donald Trump is the weakest man ever. And you Republicans, I know you, I served with you. You know this is garbage. You know it. But yet you keep going with it. Why? Because you might get a primary. Oh, I might get primary. I don't know what to do. And you're the betas, guys. Donald Trump is not an alpha. There is nothing alpha about you guys because you know he's destroying this country and you let him do it anyway. 2 weeks. Let's see what happens again. I'll be back in 2 weeks to fill you in. I think I know what it's going to be.
Hillary Clinton was on Morning Joe today, and she reminded us all why she's the GOAT. Watch.
In the next 30, 60 days, healthcare costs for millions of Americans are going up 75%. That's not Medicaid, which hits after the 2026 election, although the results are going to be felt beforehand because hospitals are cutting back services. But the Affordable Care Act health premium costs are going up 75%. Now, when somebody logs on to renew their health insurance and they see that, wait a minute, how did that happen? Well, it happened because the big bill they passed eliminated it.
She's absolutely right, because Trump and MAGA Republicans promised to cut costs from day one, and instead they've been going up. Hillary nails it by connecting Trump's big beautiful bill directly to skyrocketing medical costs that Americans are about to face. Premiums are going to go up across the board, no matter your income. And we have to give credit where credit is due, because it was under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, first with the American Rescue Plan, and then extended by the Inflation Reduction Act, that enhanced tax credits, cut costs, and doubled enrollment, making healthcare affordable for millions. Now those credits are going to expire because Trump refuses to extend them. Hillary also hit another critical point, and that's that MAGA Republicans in Congress gave away their Article 1 powers by letting Trump unilaterally crank tariffs up and down like it's a knob. Watch.
So you want to say your economic standing, your well-being is directly connected to the abuse of power. How do you hold a president who's abusing power, raising costs, imposing tariffs, raising healthcare costs by eliminating advantages like you used to have? How do you hold that president accountable in a midterm? You vote against his party. So I think it's, walk and chew gum at the same time. Mm-hmm. What you're seeing right now is part of a bigger picture. The costs are up. You can't afford to live in a lot of places. And we need to run on that, but you need to connect it to this unaccountable abusive power that we are seeing. And for the life of me, and I look at Joe having also served in the Congress, for the Republicans in Congress to give up their Article 1 constitutional power to be the appropriators, to be the deciders of how money should be spent is outrageous.
So while MAGA talks a big game about the working class, it's Democrats that actually delivered for the working class. And the pain that's going to be felt from the disappearing credits and from the tariffs isn't partisan. It'll be felt by Republicans, independents, even people who don't vote. Voting for Trump will not protect you from higher bills.
We know Donald Trump has always wanted a statue in his honor, but I'm not sure this is what he had in mind. What do you think about this?
Well, what do I think about it? I
Yeah.
think it's an excellent, comment on where we stand right now in society. If we got someone who's hiding their truth, just release it. Release the files.
Why do you think he doesn't want to release the files?
He's in them. It's that simple.
First of all, I should ask, did you know what this was as soon as you walked up?
Yeah, I actually saw it on TikTok this morning, and so I knew we had to come and see it for ourselves.
You saw it on TikTok.
I did, yeah.
It's famous already.
Already, yeah. I think it's the most popular thing on the mall right now.
I was just going to ask you, what do you think about this Trump Epstein statue?
Well, I think it's hilarious. I think it's, I think it all makes sense. They're not lying. I think there was a relationship before he took over the presidency. Yeah.
Why do you think he won't release the files?
Because he knows he's dirty. Like, there's no doubt about that. But, yeah, he's got power, and that's why he's protecting him.
You guys are Trump supporters? You guys like Trump? Or
Yeah.
you like him?
Yeah, I like him.
Why do you think he won't release the files?
Because he's on it.
You still like him, though?
If he's on it, probably not, no.
And this part just might be the icing on the cake. You got the statue right here, but off in the distance, hanging on the Department of Labor, is the Kim Jong-un like Trump banner. You gotta love it.
I have spent the last 7 hours of my life listening to Charlie Kirk feed bullshit to students on the campus of Texas A&M, and this is what I've learned. So first, Kirk is not a good debater, because even in this environment where he has stacked the deck in his favor, when he would get backed into the corner on an argument, he would always go to something inflammatory. For example, when somebody cornered him on due process for Abrego Garcia, he would pivot to an audience-friendly line like, "I will never apologize for telling illegal aliens to get out of my country." He also spent the entire day avoiding debate with anyone who could actually challenge him. His first dozen or so questions were taken from people with red hats on, which means the first half an hour of the entire event was just people telling him how much they loved him. After that, he only took questions from kids from Texas A&M because he knew he would get half-informed assertions that he could easily dunk on. Second, this event is pitched as something that's supposed to educate kids, but when you hear the kind of inflammatory rhetoric and cherry-picked stats that Charlie Kirk uses in his arguments, you understand this is nothing more than manipulation for attention. He has no intention of informing any of these kids of anything. And he also actively encouraged one student who asked if it was appropriate to learn the other side's arguments to refuse assignments in class where she was supposed to take up the other side so that she wouldn't violate her values. And lastly, maybe the most disappointing thing is that all of these hundreds of MAGAs who are lined up to go hear Charlie Kirk speak, I talked to a half a dozen of them today, red hat wearing evangelical Republicans. And what I found is these people are not unlike the Republicans in my own family. They are far, far less extreme than he wants us to believe. I talked to a young man who said he could not think of a single adult male Democrat in his life. I talked to a 21-year-old Republican who voted for Trump, and she said people who think there shouldn't be exceptions with abortion law are crazy. And after losing her dad at an early age a couple of years ago, with her entire family depending on her mom's public school teacher income, she wanted to see more policies that supported the middle class. Americans so badly want to be decent to each other, and that decency is still there right beneath the surface. But people like Charlie Kirk pouring $90 million a year into running campaigns to corrupt American minds, people like Donald Trump who want us to believe that immigrants are destroying America, they are the sole driving force in the effort to weaponize every single issue so they can divide us, exploit us, and harness us to gain more power.
Erica Kirk has deep connections to Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, and the State of Israel. The supposed grieving wife and mother is going to be taking over Turning Point USA. So here's some facts about her that I think the public has a right to know and that nobody else is reporting on. Around 2009 to 2010, even though Erica had never modeled before or participated in a beauty pageant, she received an invitation in the mail to participate in the Miss USA beauty pageants, which were owned by Donald Trump. In 2012, she won the Miss Arizona competition. And at the same time, according to her website, she was also a casting director at the same time she was modeling for Trump. In 2006, she started a ministry when she was just 17 years old. This ministry was working with the U.S. military in Romania at the same time she claimed to be working as a casting director. The area in Romania where Erica was operating her ministry out of had a ton of locals accusing these evangelical ministries of kidnapping children and trafficking them out of the country. These children were being found in Israel, the UK, and undisclosed private islands. The locals demanded that the authorities look into this, and shocker, they never did, but her ministry was kicked out of Romania. In 2018, 2 years after Donald Trump started working with Charlie Kirk, Erica and Charlie were introduced to one another after one of their mutual friends suggested that Charlie should hire her to work for Turning Point. So at Erica's job interview with Charlie, Erica allegedly said, "You're not going to be my boss. You're going to be my boyfriend." So they began dating. I think it's safe to assume that this mutual friend was Donald Trump, because Erica was already one of his employees, so it would make sense for his team to encourage this. Beauty pageants are a well-known gateway for human trafficking. So with her being a casting director, her ministry working with the military in Romania and being asked to leave, along with her very strange behavior of capitalizing on the death of her husband, I think this should be of immense concern to us all. Random people do not get propped up by the mainstream media out of nowhere. That includes Charlie Kirk, whose father had deep connections to Donald Trump even before he started working with Charlie Kirk. All of these people that you see on TV run in the same circles, and anybody with ties to human trafficking should not be trusted. So comment below and let me know, did you know about her ties to Trump and the beauty pageants and this ministry that she operated in Romania? Let's chat about this.
Today, the Republican House majority brought to the floor a resolution honoring, quote, honoring the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's assassination was a horrific and vile attack and incident of political violence. And condemning the depravity of Kirk's brutal murder is a straightforward matter, one that is especially important to help stabilize an increasingly unsafe and volatile political environment where everyday people feel more at risk. We can deeply disagree and come together as a country to denounce the horror of this killing. And it is not a license for the abuse of power and whitewashing of American history. Today's resolution only underscores the majority's recklessness by choosing to author this condemnation and honoring on a purely partisan basis, instead of uniting Congress in this tragedy with one of the many bipartisan options to condemn political violence and Kirk's murder, as we did with the late Melissa Hortman. Instead, the majority proceeded with a resolution that brings great pain to the millions of Americans who endured segregation, Jim Crow, and the legacy of bigotry today. We should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was. A man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake, who after the violent attack on Paul Pelosi claimed that, quote, some amazing patriot, unquote, should bail out his brutal assailant, and accused Jews of controlling, quote, not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it, unquote. His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans, far from the working, quote, working tirelessly to promote unity, unquote, asserted by the majority in this resolution. It is equally important that Congress does unite to reject the government's attempt to weaponize this moment into an all-out assault on free speech across the country, all in the name of Charlie Kirk,
President Trump and the FCC are now cynically threatening to shut down ABC and any outlets who give airtime to the administration's political critics. This is a disgusting attack on the American people and the very First Amendment rights that define us as a country. It is also the ABC Corporation's responsibility to refuse to embolden and participate in this corruption and escalation of censorship. We continue to pray for Mr. Kirk's family and loved ones in the wake of this terrible act. I am thinking especially of his children and his wife, whose grief cannot be measured. And with that, I yield back to the gentleman.
What you need to do is to look into the eyes of my 7-year-old at night. And she looks at me and tells me she can't go to sleep because she's afraid there's a shooter in the house. This is our family's new reality. And this is the reality that so many of the families in our Annunciation community are suffering. The truth is, none of us will be the same after this. And I truly hope this can move us forward together, because that is what we need right now for our children. No matter who you are, what community you're from, how much money you make, who you voted for, who you prayed to, or if you pray at all, we want the same thing. We want our children to come home safe from school. I implore you, ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. This is survival by chance, and our children deserve better than this. Do not wait for another child to die. Do not wait for another mother to be sitting here again telling you their story of fear, sorrow, and grief. Because the mothers, we will keep coming.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let's see. Mess with this a little bit. And let's go ahead and start off the festivities. Huh? How's that? Impeach Trump. Let's impeach the cocksucker. Impeach Trump. All right. I think my mic is working. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is 9:36 a.m. in the old Pacific time zone. Thanks for being here. It's about 86 degrees. We're supposed to hit 97 today. The chat is rolling along here. I see Jolie in there. Hello, Jolie. I saw Michael McAndrews was in there, and Mr. Spock. Live long and prosper. I see Fancy. Fancy says, when I make the video, I'll post it. Michael, you will have to wait till then. Yeah, I'm already mid thread because the chat is moving, and I can't go back to earlier chats. So I don't know if that was about new video that Fancy's making. I hope you put Dan Gurney in it. Michael McAndrews says, my buddy likes rice and egg. I like chorizo and egg. See, I'm mid thread. I'm already mid thread. Soul Crab's here. Hey, Soul Crab, good to see you. Mr. Spock, black olive omelet. Oh, I like black olives. Fancy says, scramble them with some cheese. So you guys were talking about omelets, apparently. Again, I'm already mid-thread. Nick Rich is here. Hey, Nick Rich, good to see you. The Soul Craft. Who else we got in? Who else is in this chat room? I'll find you. I'm going to find you. Hey, you guys have your coffee? What does Texas Paul say? Hope your coffee's good. Hell, I hope it's better than mine. Something like that. Some such thing as that. William's here. Hey, William, good to see you. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you for coming on in, hanging out with us on this Thursday. On this beautiful Thursday. Alton Gillespie's here. Hey, Alton, good to see you. From GD, Texas. Howdy, all. Notice didn't go with the y'all for some reason. Barefoot Bear's here. Hey, Barefoot Bear. Says, hi, trucklers. We are the mighty trucklers. David Weiss from Denver's here. Hey, Denver. Hey, David. Or Denver. Good to see you. Fancy says, I'll be listening while I work. I'll pop back in from time to time. I'll allow it. It's always good to have you here, Fancy. And if you want to lurk while you work, that's fine. Lynn says, hi, dear Jolie. I was looking for the trophy to give you, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, I did see Jolie was first. I did see that before it all disappeared. Before it all went away. Now, we got 42 watching, only 38 thumbs ups, guys. You know my feeling about that. I don't like us operating like Republicans in a deficit. So let's please get to more democratic atmosphere, and let's get those thumbs ups and get to at least a balanced budget, if not a surplus. Jen up the base is here. Hey, Jen. Good to see you. Roxanne 79 comes in right after Jen, as would be expected. You know, they always in there together. Roxanne says, howdy, Chuck and John and loungers. Just stopping in for a second, running up to the store. See you when I get back. Alrighty then. The Soul Crab says, damn, she's on fire. She's on fire. Was that the Jasmine part, the Jasmine Crockett? I stuck that in there because it was sort of a little laundry list of all or not all, but a bunch of people that Trump has been pardoning. He's been pardoning criminals. I mean, out and out criminals, dangerous criminals. It's one thing to give a pardon to someone that maybe thought has done enough time. They've served their, or maybe there was something questionable. Maybe maybe they're innocent, or whatever. But the people that Trump has been pardoning are just out and out criminals. They're either dangerous, like physically dangerous, violently dangerous, or they're just ripping people off for millions and millions of dollars. In other words, Trump's people. Those are Trump's kind of people. Let's see who else is here. As I scroll on down through the old chat here. Let's see. Gino Maynard is here. Gino says Crockett always carries a metaphorical baseball bat. Yeah, she's good. I like her a lot. She is really, really good. Probably her and Jasmine Crockett and AOC are probably my two favorite Congress people right now, and for a while now. The Soulcraft says, "Did you all see South Park?" I did not see it, but I did see that they made a episode with the about the FCC chair guy, and I didn't see it yet. I have not seen it yet, but it's probably hilarious. Nick Rich hitting the like should be automatic. I agree, Nick Rich. Hit that like button if you would. That'd be great. Sandy Foltz is here. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in, hanging out with us today. Lynn is here. I think I said hi to Lynn already. Michelle is here. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Let's see who else is here. WW. This is not who I think it is. I don't know. WW says sad, confused young men, not political ideologues. Has to do with stereotypes and expectations. That clip, that might have been WW maybe making a comment about the clip where the guy, this was obviously before Charlie Kirk's murder. The guy was at, I guess, was it University of Texas or something? And maybe that's the one you're talking about. Yeah, we got to find a way to reach. We do got to find a way to reach people, because I think there's a lot of confused people out there. Soulcraft, nothing like baseball in October. Yeah, there's only about 5 games to go, or 4 games to go for the season, and then we're going to be right into the postseason. Go Dodgers! Sandy Foltz with a $2 super sticker. Thank you, Sandy. Yippee! To Sandy Foltz, thank you so much. I'll give you a thumbs up and a heart there. Thanks for helping support the show. I do appreciate it. Every little bit helps. Help keep the show going and growing. You guys can do super chats. We have a goal of 5 today. And we also have like, subscribe, sharing. We've got memberships, the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. $1.99 a month. Pretty cheap. Pretty affordable. WW who and what is an alpha? Don't get bogged down in old shit that we all know. You know, with all your rhetoric, your rhetorical questions. Don't bog us down with your rhetorical bullshit, WW. You know, just say what you want to say. Just say it. Don't fucking beat around. I'm tired of you beating around the bush. Okay, just say what you want to fucking say. Stephanie B2 says, my cousin is a MAGA and refuses to get the Affordable Care Act, which she qualifies for. She has some Christian health ministry insurance that's crap, and she pays for it. Yeah, those junk insurance policies that Trump brought back I think in his first term, after Obama had gotten rid of those. It's just, it never ceases to amaze me how people are willing to throw their money away for something that has crappy coverage, but just because it doesn't say ACA or doesn't look like it was from Obama or from Democrats, they would rather suspend their money on crap. Makes no sense. Makes no sense, folks. Folks, I'm telling you, it makes no sense. Nick Rich says that statue is a perfect example of modern art. Yeah, Stephanie says, is that Jeffrey Epstein and Trump on those statues? Yeah, that is exactly who that is. It's them like holding hands and frolicking through the park together or whatever. And I think it illustrates, and there are little plaques under, I think it kind of explain it, but it really illustrates that they've been buddies. They were buddies for a long, long time. And they were doing a lot of the same things for decades together. So not only should we impeach Trump, but we also now I gotta find it. We also need to do that. We need to release the Epstein files. And now we're gonna have the 218th Democrat or whatever, right? Taking office here pretty soon. And I think that's what we needed. Aaron's here. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. So we got Aaron and Jolie. So we are at full mod capacity. Thanks for being here, Aaron. I heard the good news you posted on Facebook that you're going to go back to college. And are you getting a master's, or what are you doing? You're doing something really cool and awesome. So congratulations to Aaron for doing that. Every now and then I think about going back to school, and I'm like, I'm 65 years old. Why the fuck would I want to go? Because I never did get my BA. I'm pretty sure I would probably have to go to like two full years because it's been so long, and I don't even know, it was still what I need. But every now and then I think about it, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do that. And then you hear these stories about this 80-year-old that got their degree. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Anyhow, let's see here. WW says good morning. Oh yeah, I already said hi to him. John Glad's here. I'm always glad to see John Glad in the old chat room. So thanks for being here. I do appreciate you coming on in. Starting with 2 says Sandy, I started a hip replacement frenzy in here. I'm really proud of you. So I guess Sandy's getting hip replacement type of a deal. Barefoot Bear hip, new hips are all the rage. Yeah. My TV flickered. I was just wondering what that was. It's Tom Hartman going to a commercial or something or whatever. Mr. Spock, I traded some wheat for deer meat. That's a good. Sounds like a good deal. WW, I'd be more convinced if this girl had less makeup. Fuck you. I would be more convinced if she knew how to pronounce Romania, though. That is what you should have said instead of making a dig on her makeup. You should have said, "Hey, how about pronouncing Romania correctly instead of going Romania? It's Romania, man. Makes me suspicious." Doug G's here. She has a hole in her shirt. Yeah, she did. WWF no contest. Of course, we are against murder, right? Yeah, yeah. When did that come up? Did I? How did I? Did I miss? Was that in the chat or was that in the intros? I don't know. Who was advocating for murder? I don't know. You guys are hunters. We got some hunters in the group here. That's okay. That's cool. Gina Maynard says, "Of course, I'm against murder, but I don't mourn fallen Confederate soldiers either. Sympathy is not praise." Starty B2 says, "My ex used to take me deer hunting so he could get a license in my name and use it to get 2 deers instead of 1. I just sat at camp, even though I can shoot really well." Starty B2 says, "Oh, here goes the Second Amendment shit. I can't believe she's saying that she would never have." So that I think you're talking about the very last little clip there. I don't think. Sometimes I put stuff. It's just stuff that pops into my feed, and I'm not sure what hearing it was. I'm not sure exactly the date. I don't think that was about Charlie Kirk. The lady in the white, and she was very distraught, right? I think she had. I think one of her children were killed at a school shooting. Is what I think that was, and she was coming out. And the reason I posted it is because I agree that we need to have an assault weapons ban. But it's not really timely, and like right now everyone's talking about Jimmy Kimmel and Charlie Kirk. Basically, that's all the news is right now, and the escalator breaking at the UN for Trump. So that one clip I posted is a little bit kind of not, I guess, current topic, but I think it's one that we should always remember, and we should always be talking about that too. I think we do need common sense gun safety laws. Nearly 90% of the people in America are in favor of universal background checks and all that kind of stuff. So, and there's quite a few other things that overwhelming majority of people are in favor of when it comes to guns and safety. And yet we can't get them passed because we have a broken system where special interests, big time lobbyists lobby for these big gun corporations. In this instance, these gun companies, and they are getting heard, and they're getting their wishes over the people's wishes, and that's really sad. I think it's sad, and I felt bad for that lady. Michael McAndrews, I hear you. Owen's here. Hey, Owen, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. I appreciate you being here. I does appreciate you. That's for sure, for sure. Lynn says impeach the tyrant and 2/3 of the Supreme Court. Absolutely. I agree 100%. I absolutely 100% agree with that. I wish we could. I wish we had the numbers, or Republicans that would have a fucking backbone to do it. Because at this point, they've got to all see that Trump is destroying the country, is going to bankrupt us, is going to take us to 1929, like the one clip said, Great Depression. Or as I like to say, a depression the likes of which has never been seen. Stephanie B2 says we had a hell of a lightning and thunderstorm last night. It's really rare for us to have that here. Lots of rain, too, that we need in California. California Central Valley. Nick Rich 937, so I'm 20 minutes behind, 19 minutes behind. MJ Daniels says impeach DJT. Alito Thomas Roberts, probably every Republican justice, then there need to be real trial. I don't think it's going. Then there need to be trials for all the corruption. This cannot be allowed. Yeah, well, let's get the numbers. Let's stop voting. And I know you don't, but let's stop voting for Republicans. Let's get the Democratic numbers we need, and then maybe we can get some stuff done. Because we know the Republicans aren't going to do shit. Maybe one or two. Maybe we can get Massey and a couple people here and there, but we'll never get the numbers if we need to get it from Republicans in order to do any impeachment and removals. Remember, it's a two-step process: impeach and then remove. It's kind of a two-part thing. Impeachment isn't an automatic removal. Owen says it's 80 here, but the humidity is so gross, makes it feel like a jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Owen, where are you from? I forget. Are you in Florida or where the hell are you? Deborah Murphy here says, oops. Oopsies. I don't know what happened. Josh, I missed the intro. Well, you can always watch it on the playback, and also I do post a separate video right after the live stream. I'll post the intro like in its own separate video if you want to check that out. Squirrel Girl says, hi, chat. Hi, Trucker John. Gonna listen and lurk. Listen and lurk. Hey, Squirrel Girl, thanks a lot for being here. I appreciate you for coming on in. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, and share. If you would, this help get the show out there, help the show grow and be big and strong someday. You know. Deborah Murphy says Republicans are mad they have to vote on Epstein files. Thank you, Arizona. Will we ever see the goddamn Epstein files, though? I mean, I know we've got the new Democrat here from Arizona, but are they going to somehow botch this or redact the fuck out of everything that that they're useless? It needs to be unredacted. I understand. I mean, you can protect the names, I guess, of some of the victims or survivors, stuff like that. But we need to know who the fucking perpetrators were. That should not be redacted for the perps, as we like to say. Hey, James Jaramillo is here. Hey, James, good to see you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you for coming on in. CR is here. Hey, CR. Human F Being is here. Hey, Human F Being says, Jolie, blue looks good on you. Oh, blue looks good on you. AM's here. We got CR and we got AM, and I'm still waiting for FM to come in. AM says, hello, TJ, in case you missed me greeting her. I guess I probably did. Probably missed you. Sorry about that. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you coming on in. Thanks for coming on in to the Driver's Lounge. This here is the Driver's Lounge. WW, you are the one who introduced the video. Yes, so? I still didn't talk in fucking rhetoric and cryptic bullshit. Like I said, you got something to say? Then fucking say it. Stop talking in fucking riddles and shit. Like this, no one said that girls were weak. Or at least not me. No one in this chat, I believe, unless I skipped it. I didn't say. I don't think there's anything in the intro that says or suggests that girls are weak. So if you got something to say, fucking say it, man. God, is it that fucking hard to ask? DPD 5844 says, did anyone see the MAGA asshole who had the audacity to show up at Tennessee State? The students and security ran him off real quick Power to the people. I did not. You think you think he would be welcome at Tennessee State? Aren't they a bunch of maggots down there? He probably thought he would be welcomed with open arms. Well, I guess he had another thing coming. WW, why are you hung up on the alpha term? Kinzinger was fucking. That was a dig against the weak Republican men, the milquetoast, spineless men in the Republican, mainly Senate, but probably in the House too. He was talking about the Republican men. Can you not figure that out? And how weak little spineless milquetoast they are. He wasn't talking about. He wasn't calling women weak. Starting to be 2 says Hillary is definitely alpha. Absolutely. She would be an alpha female. In case W is confused. Roxanne's back from the store about 15 minutes ago now. Susie Jones is here. Hey, Susie, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in, hanging out with us for a bit. Oh, Aaron, bachelor's in business management. Nice. Awesome. Good luck with that. Getting your degree. I think it's wonderful. Deborah Murphy says the White House police destroyed the statue Sunday night. I think they destroyed it, and that might be the second one. I think they brought it back. I think someone just. I think who knows? Whoever's making them, they might be. That might all be with one of those. What do you call those machines? The newfangled machines that the kids have these days. They're just popping them out. Owen says his mentor was pedo for young boys. Don't leave out Roy Cohn. Yeah, because I was talking about how Epstein and Trump were friends. But the thing is the thing about it is to make emphasis on the Epstein files. But you're right. W, tired of the Democrat boy bashing. What the fuck is your problem, dude? For one thing, that Kinzer guy is not even a Democrat. And he wasn't boy bashing. He was calling out the motherfuckers for just being pussies, for not standing up to Trump. Roxanne79 says road rage is real. Just felt some from what turned out to be some cunt that lives in my neighborhood, shaking my head, surrounded by these fuckers. I'm done with the public for today. Yeah, maybe time to just stay inside, have some, sativa or whatever, and curl up on the couch and just listen to good old Trucker John for a couple hours, and maybe that will relax you. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, it says you got a new hip. We can slam dance again. Yeah. WW, I'm not a big fan of makeup. It's like a clown face. No, it's not. That is so fucking condescending. Now, granted, are there some people that overdo it or don't do it well at all? Looking at you, Donald Trump, you know, just stop it, W. Just you're embarrassing yourself now at this point. You're embarrassing yourself. Paul, who is TJ referring to? I don't know. I don't know who I was referring to because I don't know what that's a reference to. I've been referring to a bunch of people, so it may have been WW. I don't know. I don't know, Paul J. Sorry, but I don't know. You know what, guys? If you want to hype videos, hype my videos. I post a lot of them, and I don't know if you guys even see them. You guys need to hit that hype button. Teresa TAK is here. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in to the old driver's lounge. These glasses why do they keep slipping down? Let's see here. Who else is in the driver's lounge? Teresa's here. Roxanne79 is back from the store. Had some road rage. Let's see. Automio is here. Who else is here? Stephanie, too. Member for 6 months. Yippee to Stephanie. Thank you so much. Says, thank you for your live streams. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member. Memberships start as low as $1.99, folks. It's really cheap, and it helps support the show. It really does help a lot. So appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Nick Rich says, Damon Dog, take your time, buddy. Loving those bubbler vids. I may have skipped Damon Dog the Big Dog. Oh, there he is. Damon Dog Big Dog's here. Says, hello, kids. I'm in the waiting room at my VA. I don't even know what that is. Re-upping my meds. Happy Thursday. All right. Hope that goes well for you. Walter Makarovich is there. Hey, Walter. Good to see you. Walter Makarovich says, morning, Trucker John. Sorry, been dealing with some cardiovascular issues, but still watching everything. That United Nations lunatic speech was enough for the impeachment to begin. Or at least enough for the 25th Amendment to begin, or whatever, right? But yeah, that was a real shit show. Owen says, everything this administration has done since Inauguration Day has been to pick a fight. MAGA hasn't gotten the reaction they wanted, so now it's time to turn up the gaslighting. So here we are. Just remember, when things really start going to shit here, when the economy really tanks, make sure everyone knows that this is Trump's doing, and it didn't have to be this way. It did not have to be this way. I mean, even if Trump had got elected and just continued the Biden shit and stuck his name on everything like he's doing now with some of the infrastructure stuff, you know, I might not, like that, but I would like it better than what he's doing now. But of course, he's a dipshit. Trump is, and I think he just likes the fact that someone gave him this list called Project 2025, and he's just like, oh, I'll just go right down the list. That way, he doesn't have to think about anything or worry about anything, or he'll just boom, boom, boom. And so here we are. Here we are. We're on the brink of disaster. We are right on the brink of disaster here. Total fucking failure. Total collapse is what we're on the brink of total collapse of our economic system, for sure. MJ Daniel says all it would take for the midterm is for frustrated Republicans to not vote and everybody else to do the right thing and vote for Democrats, we will see if Americans have had enough. I hope we even can get there. We're over a year away. I just hope and pray to God that we can even just get to the midterms. At the rate we're going, we're not going to make it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but at the rate we're going, I don't think we're going to make it to the midterms. I think that we're going to have a total collapse of the country. Mark Krasner says the future is bleak because of all the children that experience mass shootings in schools. The USA government already ruined their lives forever. Yeah, and the future is bleak also because Donald Trump is doing everything in his power to just destroy everything that he touches. Everything that he touches dies. It withers and dies. W, you're more than free to fucking leave, dude. You're more than... There's the door. Right there. You're more than welcome to fucking pick up your shit and fucking head on out. You know, no one's making you be here. Jolie says, show John how much you appreciate his hard work on his amazing intros by sharing his intro clips. Thank you, Jolie. Yeah, let's share those. Share those bitches. Damon Dog says, I like it when John's in a mood. Nick Rich, Hal is 56 years young today. So that puts us about, what are we, 9 years? About 9 years apart. Because I'll be 65. I guess next week. Like in a week from now. I think a week tomorrow. From tomorrow, I think. Yeah. Wow. Oh, and if you had sex at an Epstein party, we want your name. W, the whole fucking chat is full of dialogue. So, you know, whatever, dude. James Hermio, 1059. I'm going with the fuck redacted out of the Epstein files. David Dog says like Betty White said, I don't know why calling someone a pussy is an insult. Those things can really take a pounding. Hey, Kimchi's here. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for being here. The goddess Kimchi is here. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Alrighty then. Well, alrighty then. Soulcraft says, even here in Huntsville, Alabama, we got billboards with Epstein and Trump rotating pics that say, what's the secret, boys? Wow. Wow, in Alabama. In Alabama. So, see, that's why Trump is trying to distract from this so much, so hard. He just wants to distract. When even in fucking Alabama, people are wanting to see the Epstein files. And it's a big deal to them. I mean, it's like the Epstein files is sort of a determining factor as to whether or not they're going to keep following this motherfucker or not. Let's see. I'm just skipping on down here in the chats. Sandy is going to Lockport today. DPD 5844. Tennessee State was founded in 1912 and is predominantly African American. The ratio of African Americans make up 87.6% as opposed to 5.3% of white students. Oh, okay. Tennessee State. Yeah, the college. I was thinking of the state of Tennessee. But okay, I got you. I didn't see the maggot that showed up there. I don't what was he doing? Was he like shouting weird shit? Roxanne79 says TJ Yep had some sativa and I'm chillaxing in the old trucker lounge. You're learning, brother. Yippee! Yeah, I kind of figured it out. I figured it out a little bit. Susie Jones, I have hyped your videos today. Thank you, Susie Jones. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I see you your comments. I know Susie's watching. Susie's one of the good ones. Not like you other slackers. Mr. Spock, TJ sounding like a dictator. You must do as I say. Susie Jones sent a Trucker John gift membership. Thank you, Susie Jones. Yippee to Susie. I appreciate you. I really, really do. It's a very nice thing to do, and it helps to support the show. And we got that one went out to Shan-Shi, who I've never seen in the chat room before. So maybe Shan-Shi will come on in and say hi. So thank you, Susie Jones. And then that's followed up by a $1.99 super chat by Kimchi. So yippee to Kimchi. Thank you so much. You give me a thumbs up and the heart. Thanks, Kimchi. I do appreciate you very much. Always good to get those in. Maybe we'll make the goal. I see we're at 2 out of 5 right now. And there's the other one, Michael McAndrews. Yippee to Michael McAndrews. See, I'm just now getting to it, so sorry if that took a while, but thank you, Michael. You get the thumbs up and the heart. And thank you so much, Michael, for helping to help support the show. I do appreciate you. And oh yeah, I forgot to say happy Truckiversary. That's what you're supposed to say. Or was it? Oh no, that wasn't Truckiversary. That was a gifted. Okay. No Truckiversaries yet then. Josh says, I saw a thing that literally the rest of the world is making PSAs to their citizens that Tylenol is safe and Trump is a dipshit. I know. See, to some extent, I don't know if Donald Trump knows the power that he has. That just saying something like that could harm so many people. Like millions and millions of people, you know. Deborah Murphy says, what does hype do for you? However, I did not know you could only hype 3 times. I don't know. The hype thing is a kind of new. I guess it maybe puts the video. It helps to hype the video out. And I know that you get points, you know, because I kind of clicked on it and you could see like all the other videos that are getting hyped. And the more points you get, the higher up on the rung you get, you know, so. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I'm hoping that it's just another way of maybe getting the videos out to more eyeballs, you know? Perhaps. So now, Nick Rich, I'm at the, where Nick said 10:10 a.m., so that means I'm 9 minutes behind. That's not too bad, 9 minutes. I don't think. Susie Jones says recession is here and a depression is likely Hope it doesn't take a world war to reverse a course this time. Yeah, I don't think so, but because I think the rest of the world, like when we had the depression in the stock market crash, and then the depression that followed, I think that turned into a worldwide thing. Right now, I don't know. I think the rest of the world is kind of going on without us. They've figured out ways to just, work around us. So, I mean, I'm sure we're going to have an impact. Like if we did have like a depression, I'm sure it would have an impact on the rest of the world, but hopefully not like it was in the 30s, So I don't know, but what do I know? What do I know? Very little, apparently. Michael McGedra says, how long does it take to destroy and remove a crappy pedo ballroom? I don't know, but I saw, I guess, a rendering of it, or, of it, and it looks horrible the way it's just this big, giant, fucking gaudy looking thing just sort of stuck on the side of the White House. It looks horrible. It looks disgusting. Everything this man does is horrible and disgusting. That pretty much sums up Donald Trump in a nutshell. Horrible and disgusting. And that's what his ballroom looks like. Also. Clockwork Lemon. Hey, Clockwork Lemon. Thanks for being here. It says Clockwork Lemon says Don wants a ballroom so he can have a party and everyone can admire his balls. That's pretty funny. We've got big balls. What's that? How's that AC/DC song? You've got big balls. We've got. Kimchi says a ballroom is needed to grift from donors and foreign governments in private. Duh. I thought that's what the Oval Office was for. Rosanna's here. Rosanna says we don't need no ballroom. I agree 100%. Yeah, and Michelle, 200-year-old trees. They're cutting down 200-year-old trees. Trees that have been there since the founding of the country, basically, or thereabouts. Susie Jones says the White House doesn't need a ballroom. He's just trying to make it Marlardo. Welcome to Marlardo. Roxanne 79 for the Epsteinth time. Lynn says the tyrant has done in months what it took Putin and Orban years to do in their country. Yeah, I mean, it's really sad. It's so sad because no one's stopping him. No one is stopping him. So he's just doing whatever he wants, man. And now he's extrajudicially executing people, murdering people in these boats. That should be enough to send Congress into a tizzy and really try to do something about this. But hardly a peep about the boats. And I can remember when Barack Obama wore a tan suit, and my God, we didn't hear the end of it. W, you can get the fuck out if you want, dude. I don't give a fuck. You can leave, motherfucker. Jen Up the Base says, Soulcraft, the Tigers going into Fenway for 3 this weekend. For the last wildcard spot will be amazing theater. Petrozzi 20. Petrozzi 20 is here. Good to see Petrozzi 20. Not sure if I've seen you before, so welcome to the Driver's Lounge. I do appreciate you being here. Clockwork Lemon says Tom Bag of Cash Homan is also going to become a nice thorn in Don's side. They pretty much brushed it off. You know, they killed the investigation. They're from the DOJ. So I don't know what they're going to do on that, but I don't have much faith of anything really becoming that. Even though the guy Holman is dirty, he's dirty as can be. DPD 5844 says, I wonder how many young boys could be involved in the Epstein-Trump pedophilia ring. I mean, it stands to reason that young boys would also be involved. Oh, yeah, I think that has been mentioned. Rosanna says, has anyone seen Lynn Lynette? I don't think so. I don't think so. The Lucky Minute is here. The Lucky Minute says, this ain't my first dictator. Susie Jones says, Shang-Chi comes into 21st century suffragettes. Oh. Today I'll watch for her. So hopefully they'll come in to the show before we end and just to say hi, you know. Big Hook, the big Canuck is here. Hello, Big Hook. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well today. Big Hook is up there in Canada and just shaking his head at us Americans. And Big Hook just, and I don't blame him, and I share the sentiment just of wondering, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are you Americans doing? And I agree. I'm constantly in a shaking my head because I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck, man? Nick Rich, 20 past the hour. I'm still 9 minutes behind. Big Hook, the big Canuck says, so Trump is now using military flights and turning off transponders so people can't track where they go and drop immigrants in war zones without anyone's knowledge. Oh my God. This man is despicable. I said he was horrible and disgusting. I mean, I don't know if I have the words to describe how fucking awful Donald Trump is. He acts like everything is just like he's playing a game of toy soldiers or something, and we're all just his little toy soldiers and or little little toy things for him to move around on the board. And he gets his jollies. Donald Trump actually just gets his jollies by how much pain he can inflict on people. He's a real sadist, this Trump asshole. Big Hook, extrajudicial killings on an epic scale by Trump and Stephen Miller. Yeah, it's just, and it's hardly even getting talked about. There should be a fucking congressional hearing going on right now, at the very least, about it. Art Gillespie says next president should lock the doors on that monstrosity, have the parties elsewhere. Lynn says the boat shooting is a war crime, and I hope I live long enough to see him prosecuted for it. Me too. That this definitely should be prosecutable. So W says that the Supreme Court says that he can't be prosecuted for anything he does in the line of duty. But is that the line of duty? Because you're that's not the line of duty. You're breaking the law. There are procedures. There are procedures in place of how to interdict a suspected a boat that has a suspected illegal activity on it. And it isn't where you just go and blow them up to smithereens. That's not the. There are procedures. So I don't know if this could be considered in the line of duty, since he's not following any of the procedures. You have the Coast Guard or the Navy interdict, and they can board the ship and they can inspect it. You don't just blow them to smithereens. So I would definitely challenge that Supreme Court ruling, because I don't think extrajudicial murder or executions are line of duty. He has no authorization of use of force or anything like that. That is an act of Congress, and he does not have that. So this is not the line of duty. This is the line of breaking the law. He's breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. Clockwork Lemon says Homan will be the first Trump stooge to resign. I put money on it. Well, let's keep the pressure on him. Let's keep the pressure on. Let's keep that story going. Okay, so Damon Dog says he's done at the VA. I don't know what fish shrink is. Yeah, my med's still crazy, but medicated for your protection. Okay. Clockwork Lemon DJT equals psychopath 100%. Oh yeah, he's a full on sociopath. 100% sociopath. WW. All sorts of meds keep my blood pressure low. Hard to get me excited. Johnny tries his best. That's funny. W. That's pretty funny. Every now and then I've got you riled up a couple times over the years. Maybe you weren't on your meds then. I don't know. I guess we're going to spend the rest of the chat talking about Boston Brian. I guess I don't know. The lucky minute he has immunity. He's just getting started. I still don't think he has immunity. I don't think he has immunity against breaking the law. I mean that whole thing, that Supreme Court thing, I think that needs to be looked at really carefully. I still don't think he can break the law. I think it's supposed to protect him from I don't know if he's actually doing. I don't know what it protects him from. I still think I still don't think that it gives him the right to just murder people. I don't, and I know I'm not explaining it right. I'm probably sounding real extremely stupid right now, but I really don't think that was a blanket immunity. Big Hook, no evidence of invasion, so he can't invoke the War Powers Act. Right. Like I said, he has no authorization of force, the use of force authorization. WW says first you must impeach him and then remove him from office. Even after that, he can't be prosecuted. Not for you to decide whether it was duty. It is well, it's up to somebody. That's what we have courts for. They can still drag his ass to court. I don't believe it's blanket immunity. I don't believe he has blanket immunity. The Lucky Minute says Newsom called this a code red. I think that should be a protest sign too. Susie Jones says the world can now say for sure that we have a demented lunatic in the White House. I bet they're more worried about him hitting the button than Reagan. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Roxanne79 says Shy Shrink is psychologist. They prescribe mental meds. Shy Shrink. Rosanna says, sorry, TJ, we're done. I'm still holding out hope though. I haven't given up all hope. Owen says the clips of Fox calling the escalator an assassination attempt are priceless. I'm tired of hearing about it, but it's so funny to watch them lose their minds. An assassination attempt. Why? Because he's so frail and can barely walk that stopping the escalator right then was going to make him fall on his face or something. And WW says, or Lynn says, WW, another country could charge him like they did Bush and Cheney. If they set foot in that country, they will be arrested. Marshall Jones' death by escalator. Richard, hey, Richard, our expat down under is here. Richard says Newsom for POTUS. I like Newsom. A lot of people still don't like him. They like what he's doing now and how he's been fighting against Trump and standing up to Trump. But still, people are saying he's not my first choice for president, or I don't really like him as president, but I like what he's doing. I think he would be a great president. But like I say, I don't even know if we're going to get to the midterms, let alone to the 28 election. So And there's a long way to go. And there's a lot of people that I like. I have a feeling that there's going to be at least a half a dozen or a dozen maybe really good quality Democratic candidates, you know. But I like Newsom. I think he would be I think he would be every bit as effective, if not more so, than Joe Biden. And Joe Biden was really effective. If you recall, people were comparing Biden to FDR, for Christ's sakes. Now all we remember is I think most of us, our last image of Joe Biden was that horrible debate with Trump. But you got to remember, a couple years prior, he was being held as the next FDR. And I think with Newsom, you get a younger guy, but who could be just as effective, if not more so, than Biden in terms of creating jobs, raising our lifestyles, our income, income going up, really restoring our economy to being that envy of the world. Gavin Newsom could do that. I mean, he's already got California to the fourth best economy in the world. So I don't see why he couldn't replicate that if he became president, to the entire country. WW says the military made the decision. They must have had some sort of evidence, but commander-in-chief is the main duty. This is main duty. Okay, well then let's see the evidence. I haven't seen anything other than the stupid videos that they put out, these snuff films that they're putting out. Other than that, I haven't heard any statements from the fucking Department of Defense, from fucking nut breath. I haven't heard anything, anything conclusive, anything with any type of evidence or proof. So that's why we need to have hearings. Petrazi, $5 super sticker. Thank you, Petrazi. 20. Yippee to you for that $5. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for helping the show. Help us keep us going and supporting the show. I appreciate you. 70B2 says Newsom is right on. This is code red. Why in the hell would I protest somebody telling the truth? Mm-hmm. Clockwork Limit says no one is immune from Alzheimer's. Looks like it's coming for him too. Yeah, and just in the opening clip, the very first part is him from like 5 years ago or whatever, in his first term, right? And then it shows him from his recent time there at the UN, just from a couple days ago, and you could see not only the aging, which we all do. I could post pictures of me from 5 or 6 years ago, and I look completely different. But you can definitely see also his the way his brain is aged, and he kind of slurs his speech a little bit, and just the incoherent thoughts and the rambling. So he's definitely on a hard fade. Donald Trump is. Now, DPD says Trump has no intentions of leaving the White House. And even if he dies in office, his predecessor will never leave. The ultimate coup began on January 20th, 2025. He did say we would never vote again. I have a feeling, though, we would see left and right come together. I don't think there's 340 million Americans that. I mean, maybe I'm naive because we are where we are. But at some point, oh God, at some point, I'm still waiting for that point But at some point, we're all going to come together. We are all going to come together. Here's another meme. It's a good one. Let's see here. Here's another good one. Just imagine what a massive general strike could do. At some point, we're going to have a massive general strike. And where it's not just a few thousand people here and a few thousand people there. It's going to have to be like hundreds of millions of people in the streets. Where we just shut down America. And we say, we're not doing shit. Fuck you. We're not fucking moving until you get these asshats out of the fucking White House. That's what it's going to take. And we can do it peacefully. It doesn't have to be a shooting war or nothing. No violence. Just a general strike. No one goes to work. No one goes to school. No one goes shopping. No one buys gas. No one does jack shit. We shut this motherfucker down. Within 3 days, we'll have everything we want. Every demand that we want. We could say, we want you to fucking frog march out. Is that the term? Frog march? We want fucking Trump and Vance fucking cuffed and marched off to prison. We could say anything. And I think we would get anything. Now, I would like to say we should get the rightful president in there and install Harris and Walz. Now, there might be a lot of people that, even in our little togetherness, that would not be for that. But we'd have to do something. We'd have to put somebody in there. I think we could shut this place down and get whatever we want, man. But it's going to take all of us. It's going to take hundreds of millions of us to do it. And we need to have some sort of common demand. We can't just be, 200 million people going 200 million different directions. We need to have a common goal of restoring our Constitution, our constitutional republic, our constitutional democratic republic. But that's what we need. A massive general strike. When all these companies start tanking because no one's buying anything. Oh, we saw what happened to Disney. Their stock immediately started tanking when everyone was canceling everything Disney. People were canceling, and for every point that they lost, every dollar they lost on their stock value, that represented a $1 billion loss, and that was just in a couple of days. And boycotting one company. Just think if basically the entire country just said, fuck you. We're not doing anything. We're not buying shit. We're not going to work. We're not doing anything. Like I said, we could get anything we wanted. We would just bypass impeachment. We would just say, get Trump and Vance out. They're out. Put in fucking Hillary. Let Hillary be the interim president until we can hold a special election or something like that. If that's what people wanted. For me, I would of course I would be satisfied. Just stick Hillary in there and Bernie as VP until 2028, and I would be happy with that. I would, but again, even the people that might join together might not be. They might want fucking Mitt Romney or some horse shit. I don't know. Rosetta says, I agree, TJ. Gavin will be great. I think it'd be great. I also think there's probably, like I said, half a dozen or more other candidates that would probably be great too. The Soulcraft says Newsom is the most skilled politician we got. I wanted him last go around. I'm going to get a bottle of water real quick because I'm really thirsty and I just drank my coffee. Oh, I just found a quarter. Just found a quarter. I'll be right back. My lucky quarter. No, earlier I was putting my shorts on and some money fell out of the pocket, some quarters. I found two of them right away, and I was thinking, I thought I had 3 quarters, and I just found the third one. So there. It was like in the carpet. WW Democrats have no stars. Oh, I think they have stars. I think AOC is a star. I think Jasmine Crockett is a star. I think Jamie Raskin is a star. I think Gavin Newsom is a star. I think Josh Shapiro is a star. I think we're going to have a new star that maybe some of the established Democrats, the old centrist Democrats, I looked up because I thought I saw something on the roof. In fact, I do. I see a fucking bug up there, man. Look at this. I got this. This thing here, you shoot it, and this thing will shoot like fucking 15 feet. Got it. Anyhow. Oops. I think we got stars. So once again, W is full of shit. All right, I'm skipping on down in the chat here a little bit. Jim Adelberg is here. Hey, Jim, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in to the old driver's lounge. I do appreciate you. Josh says Raskin has been my favorite Dem for a while now, but he'll never run, and he's too valuable in the House. Never say never, Josh. Never say never. The Soulcraft says, I agree he's going to try to pull some state of emergency to suspend elections through like FEMA. Christina Weibel thinks that Dinky is going to use the military to fuck with the midterms, or as I like to call them, congressional elections. I think someone just walked by my window. I'm sorry if I always get distracted when someone walks by. Roger Dodger, the Supreme Court never used the term line of duty. It said that POTUS cannot be charged for any official act he conducts or conducted while in office. He is off the chain. Michelle, we voted yesterday in Arizona. Yes, you did. You did a great job. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you, Michelle. We got a Democrat there. We got our 218th Democrat. We should be seeing a release of the Epstein files now, right? Lynn says you have more confidence in people than I do, TJ. I hope you're right. I'm not sure what that's a reference to, but I just am hopeful. I don't think people want to be. I really don't think when it comes down to actual, real, like dictatorship. Like right now we're saying he's a dictator, but we still have. We're still basically functioning as a democracy, as a republic. But like if the shit really hit the fan and Trump just started, canceling elections, building concentration camps, and just throwing everybody, all kinds of anyone who he thought was disloyal to him or whatever, all this kind of shit. I really think once we get the numbers, we outnumber them. Just the people. The people outnumber these fucking oligarchs. So I think that we would have a common. At some point, we're gonna see Trump as a common. It's gonna be a common enemy to all sides. Lynn says Jack Smith says the U.S. is on fire and we need to put it out. They just released recently a Jack Smith report, part of his report, that showed that that Donald Trump paid for a lot of the Jan 6ers to come there on Jan 6. That maybe needs to be publicized more. Something like that. You would think we would see some common ground on, some common, where both sides would not be in agreement of that. Of course, a lot of those are the other side are Jan 6 sympathizers. WW says, you organize it, Johnny. I worked for the union for over a decade. We couldn't even get the body to agree. Okay, I'm organizing it. So let's have a massive general strike on January 1st, New Year's Day. We're all going to be all partying and all hungover anyhow. Might as well have our general strike on New Year's Day, 2026. All right, there. I'm done. The only organizing here's the organizing. Here's what you do. You just stay home. You don't go to work. You don't go to school. You don't go shopping. You don't go to the gas station. You don't go nowhere. Anything that's going to cost money or spend money, you don't do it. And you just keep doing that. And while you're at it, maybe the only money you might spend is maybe for postage to send letters to your elected representatives, cards, little postcards, or to make calls to tell them why. And everyone can just call in and go, yeah, I'm part of this general strike, and we're not going back to work until Donald Trump is removed from office or something like that. That's the organization there. See, it's really easy. A general strike is really easy. You don't have to have a certain place. We don't have to drive somewhere. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't got to do shit. That's the whole thing about a general strike. That's the thing is you don't do shit. You don't do shit. You don't buy nothing. You don't spend no money. And you essentially shut down the country. If you're a bus driver or a train driver or a pilot You don't go to work and you shut down the country. That's what I'm talking about by shutting down the country. If you're a cop, you're a fireman, you don't go to work. If everyone starts murdering each other, well, too bad. If fires are going on, well, too bad. I know that's how it sounds pretty harsh, but that's how a general strike should work. There really is no money or infrastructure in it. You just don't do anything. And if you want to go out into the streets or into parks or down by City Hall and carry a sign and peacefully protest, then that doesn't take much either. You just go out and you just do it. So there, I've organized it. Done. My work here is done. My work here is done. I'm a great organizer. MJ Daniel says, it would be nice for that many Americans to get involved, but oh, look, a funny TikTok. Hey, start posting it on TikTok. General strike, January 1st, 2026. Just don't do nothing for as long as it takes. Now, I guarantee you, if we had 300 million people do that, we would get whatever we wanted. Whatever we wanted, we would get it. Now, if only 100,000 people do it, we won't get shit. If 500,000 people do it, we won't get shit. If 3 or 4 million people do it, we probably won't get shit, but we might get some attention. You know, if 10 or 20 or 30 million people will definitely start getting some attention and raising some eyebrows and maybe getting some people worried. If we had 50 million people do it, now we're getting somewhere. Chris Doug Mark Kelly, yeah, he's a good one. I mean, he's a little, maybe a little too conservative to my liking, but I think he's a good guy, and he might be someone that could be a kind of a uniter in a way, you know. Captain Trips, Trump 2028. All right, Captain Trips, you enjoy your dictator there. The Soul Crab says, at this point, Romney doesn't sound too bad. Richard says, I like the way Trucker John doesn't hold back on the F word. WW, have you ever tried to organize a strike? I have. I just did it. January 1st, 2026. No one does nothing. There, that's it. That's the thing. We're done. We're done with the organizing. Petrozzi 20 says we need a ruthless Democrat president. I do think we need a president that is not afraid to be a little rough and tumble. You know, that's not afraid to call out Republicans for their, for their bullshit. Michael Magandro says that W is making good points. I don't think he makes any good points. I think WW is a fucking moron. That's just me. That's just me. That's just my opinion. It's 11:05. I know. Okay, well, I should probably be ending pretty soon here. We're almost at 2 hours. Nick Rich, no Kings. That's the issue. Yeah, no Kings protests are scheduled for October 18th, I believe. That's just a little warm up. That's just a little precursor to what I'm organizing, which is a national a massive general strike. January 1st, 2026. No one go to work. No one go to school. Nothing. If you're a fucking cab driver, if you're a bus driver, an airplane driver, truck driver, especially truck drivers, whatever it is, you don't go to work, and you don't go back to work until we get our fucking demands. There. I think I'm a great organizer. I think I just did a great thing there. Michelle says, Sugar John, you are loaded 3/4. Yeah, 3/4. I'm 3/4 of the way there. Roger Dodger says Christina is doing her own show here, Freedom of Speech, CW. Captain Trips says, is America will never be a communist country. I love your grammar. I love your grammar, man. It's so obviously un-American. WW says media personality. Everybody knew Aunt Nancy and Hillary. I don't know. I am a bit mid-thread, so I don't know what that's talking about. Nick Rich says, why is it the people who insist on not being told what to do always tell others what to do? MJ Daniel says AOC would be great, but will the U.S. ever vote for a woman president? I think they will someday. Even Democrats seem to have a problem with it. I do believe, and AOC might be the first woman. I just don't think it'll be 2028. Maybe in the 2030s or 2040s, or unfortunately. But that it's taken that long. But eventually we will be. Eventually. All right, I'm skipping down in the chat, guys. Richard says 25th Amendment time. I agree. WW says money doesn't make anything right. Raise all you want. Kamala sure did, and she still lost. There are lots of questions about the vote counting. Roger Dodger says John has decided Trump doesn't have blanket immunity, even though Trump does have blanket immunity for all official acts while in office. SCOTUS. But he doesn't for unofficial acts. That's what I'm talking about. Clockwork Limit says there are more of us than there are of them, and that will never change. Thanks, TJ. WW, they blame the California money for the reason that Uncle Joe was forced to step out of the race. I blame it on him looking like a really out of it old man at that debate. Owen says, "Shit, I can do that ASAP. When you want to go? January 1st, 2026. General strike starts. No one do nothing." WW says, "You can't tell other people what to do. You have to persuade." Nick Rich sounds more like anarchy to me, not good trouble. I think it's good trouble. Richard says the Trump supporters were yelling, "Hang Mike Pence, what the fuck?" WW, I don't use TikTok, but maybe I'll start. I don't recommend you TikTok. Owen says most people don't go out on the 1st. That's kind of my point. I mean, that was kind of why but it's not a one-day thing. This is not a one-day thing. This might have to be a week. Can we do it for a week? If nobody did nothing for a week, I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing, if nobody did nothing for a week, we could get anything we wanted. Mr. Spock, the food would disappear. It would turn into the apocalypse. Well, you know what? That might be better than what's going on with Trump. The apocalypse might be better than continuing to live under a dictator. in my opinion. Oh, it says make it Black Friday and you might have something. Christina Weibel, I blocked him, John. I'm not sure who we. Oh, the one that was the Trips, Captain Trips, or whatever it was. See, shit like that doesn't bother me. It bothers you guys. It didn't really bother me. Of course, I did skip a lot, so maybe I skipped some of his stuff, but I don't know. WW says it's a mutual feeling, Johnny. You can live in your make-believe world all you want. I'm still out here in the real world. WW, you've been in your own little bubble for a decade now, probably. Michael McAndrews says that Trumpy has Kimmel derangement syndrome. Nola Carnes is here. Hey, Nola, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. I do appreciate you for coming on in. WW says make a movie about it. That would be cool. That would be a cool movie, I think. I could call it Don't Look Up Part 2. No, that doesn't make any sense. Marsha's here. Hey, Marsha, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. I do appreciate you. I'm just finishing up the chat here. I'm going to skip down and end the show. We're over 2 hours now. WW, it would just give him more reason to enforce martial law. If 300 million people did this, there would be no law enforcement people to carry out the martial law. There would be no military to carry out that law because part of the military would be involved when you're talking 300 million people. Lynn says you need a patient advocate to help you, Marsha. Oh, okay. About Marsha's deal. Yeah, Marsha's always been dealing with this healthcare stuff, and I really hope she gets that taken care of. Nola Carnes says, good to see you, Trucker John. Good to see you, Nola. Good to see you. WW, the military would not follow his commands. Not if they were all part of the general strike. Just do the math. There's 340 million people. So I said, okay, so that leaves 40 million people. So I guess that would be more than enough for the military. But I'm just saying, okay, 300 million people. I would imagine that a lot of the military people would be involved in the general strike as well. And they wouldn't be able to stand up to 300 million people. I mean, they could just start killing everyone, but I don't think they would have. If we had 300 million people doing a general strike, then I think we could really overpower the military with 300 million people. A bunch of us will die, but like I said, that might be better than living under a dictatorship. I know I'm sounding crazy, but think about it. Just think about it. There are more of us than there are of them. And by us, I mean there's more of us in the bottom 99%. There's even more of us in the bottom 70 or 80% than there are of them. We need to use our numbers to our advantage. Barbara Nichols, 340 million total population. Yeah, I know. I do know that, and that's why I was giving a little leeway. You know, I didn't expect 100% turnout. That's why I shaved it down to 300 million. I do realize 340 million is the number that we always get as far as the total population of the United States. Chris Doug says, once again, I have to remind certain people that this is the Trucker John live stream. All are welcome, but if you're going to be constantly Contrarian, go away. Well, I don't know about that. The Lucky Minute says when the National Guard stops getting paid, which is happening, they will stop listening to commands. That's right. We have a government shutdown looming. If they can shut down the government, then we can shut down the government. Right? Why is it that they always get to shut down the government, but we don't get to? Maybe we should do it sometime. How about we, the people, shut down the government? We don't have to storm the Capitol. We don't have to rub shit on the walls. We don't have to go through there chanting, Nancy, Nancy, where are you? And where's Mike Pence? And hang Mike Pence. We don't need to do any of that shit. We don't need to even do anything violent. All we have to do is just not do anything. It's really, really easy. Now, we might go hungry, like, was it Mr. Spock? Because there'd be, there would be no food. Just stock up a little bit. Get some of that Jim Baker buckets of food. There you go. Like I said, I don't think this would drag out to like months and months and months. This is all hypothetical, of course. But just imagine, if you would, just imagine if we could get like 300 million people to do this, okay? I know it sounds like I'm delusional and crazy. I'm just asking you just to imagine if we had basically 300 million is basically the whole country that just did what I said. You don't go to work, you don't go to school, you don't do anything. No jobs, nothing. No cops, no firemen, no pilots, no truck drivers, especially the truck drivers. Like I've always said about truck drivers could shut down the country all by themselves, pretty much. We wouldn't have to stock up on food, I don't believe, because I think this whole thing would be settled within 72 hours. That's my point. So we don't have to worry about, no one would be there to process the food or harvest the crops. No one, we would, all that kind of stuff. This will be done. This will be a done deal within 72 hours if we had 300 million. And I know that seems like an impossibility. That seems like a crazy man talking here. But it is a hypothetical. And the hypotheticals are hypotheticals for a reason. Basically to try to make a point. The point is that we have the numbers as far as the people. We outnumber the millionaires and the billionaires. We certainly outnumber the top 1%. We outnumber the top 0.1%. We outnumber them by 99.9%. And if we ever pulled our heads out of our asses and we ever came together as one cohesive voice, then we could get things that we want. Like single payer universal health care or hair care. Like green new renewable energies. All these things that we want, like gun safety laws. We can get everything we would want. We could probably even get a UBI, universal basic income. We could get all that shit. We can get all the shit that all the good countries are getting, like Sweden and Norway and those motherfuckers. We can get shit like what they're getting, and we could get it in 3 days. So I know it sounds crazy if I say if 300 million people just all sat down and didn't go to work and we had this general strike. I know that sounds crazy. But the point is we outnumber them. And if we ever get our shit together and we ever come together, left and right, come together in a common cause, those motherfuckers will literally shit their pants. Those oligarchs, the Elon Musks of the world, they will literally shit in their pants if we ever come together. That's why they always are keeping us fighting. And with that, I will end the show. Boston Brian's on. I know a lot of you want to go over there. A lot of you already have. Say hi to Boston Brian from me when you go over there. I'll see you guys again tomorrow, Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, where we can continue the conversation. Thanks, guys, for being here. Thank you, Jolie. Thank you, Aaron, for modding. Thank you, WW, for hanging out. Thanks, everyone. I didn't mean to just say WW and then neglect this. I can't say everyone's names, but thanks all y'alls for being here. You guys are awesome. You guys are beautiful human beings is what you are. And just thank you so much for being here. There you go. You get the heart. Look at those hearts. Look at that beautiful heart. Make sure you guys subscribe. We are at over 4,070. We're growing. We're going to get to 4,100 before you know it. 5,000 even after that. All right, guys. Thank you, Kim Chi, for being here. Marsha Jones, everybody. That's it for today. Only thing left to do is the good old words of the wisdoms. So get a pen and paper down. Write this down. All right, guys. So for today's words of wisdom, just remember,
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kill. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, Oh, it's time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again.
Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food and movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shrugs, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.